characteristics of the object. So we will come to know the changing phenomena of this characteristic. So with mindfulness we have protection from kilesa, but when we develop wisdom we can uproot the kilesa. There is a difference there. So when our mind becomes clean, clear, our mind string becomes clean, clear, we gain spiritual stamina. The spiritual stamina will become strong. So when we have this situation, when we encounter raga, or this is like lust, or when we encounter that can derive dosa, we will not have all these kilesa arise in our body, in our mind. This is a major benefit that can be gained by noting properly. So if one unit of mind that is free from pollutants is connected with another similar unit of mind, our wisdom will become strong. At this stage, our mind will become more clean, more clear. At the end, our mind will become totally clear, totally clean. When this happens, we will experience the real peace, real happiness. When our mind is full of pollutants, the mind becomes very stiff or becomes very fragile. What happens is, when we have this kind of unclean, polluted mind, our mind becomes sort of rough. It is like iron ore. Iron ore is very fragile, very stiff. So what we do is, we put the iron ore in heat, in other words, in fire, and you pound with a hammer. This stiff iron ore, after pounding so many times, several times, maybe hundreds of times, this iron ore becomes pliable. It becomes useful. Before, when the iron ore was very rough, it was not usable. So as you hit the iron ore, hammer it many times, and put it again in the fire, hammer more times. If you do this many times over, this iron ore can even become a very useful product of stainless steel. So similarly, it is the same thing. When the iron ore, it reaches the last stage, very useful stage, it becomes bright and clean. Our mind is the same thing. If we do not practice properly, it remains very crude, it very stiff, it is very fragile. For example, if we meet up with raga or lust or dosa, the defilements in connection to this situation will come up in our body, and this will give a lot of trouble. So like hammering, we have what we call in Pali atapa. Atapa is noting the object that arises in a very urgent manner, like giving heat, like very urgent. So, in other words, our mind must not become cold. As soon as an object comes out, we must rush with heated mind. If the mind is cold, it will not do. So also, this atapa must be accompanied by aiming and focusing. Like the hammering. The more you hammer the iron ore, the more useful it becomes. So when an object arises, we have to note with atapa, with aiming and focusing. The more we can note, the more our mind will become pliable. Then, when we meet up with kama, raga, or lust, or dosa, they will not bother us at all, because our mind has become very pliable, and we will not meet up with obstacles or danger. Gimana? Similarly, a gold, as it comes out from the ground, contains a lot of impurities like lead and other minerals, and it is also brittle. So we have to take out all the impurities from the gold. Then only the gold becomes very useful, it becomes very pliable. So meditation is like taking out all the impurities from our mind.
and she don't sit on the cover. Need it, take everything over. I don't. We have been a sergeant, and I see on it. Say good judge, and we are going to take it.
So, when the crude gold becomes a pure gold, you put it in the heat, the weight will not decrease. If you put it in acid, it will not dissolve. In a way, sudden acid. What happens is, the pure gold has the ability to stand the heat and to stand the acid. So similarly, our mind, when it becomes clean, pure, full of energy, if we meet up with some situation where our mind can move, because of the property of the mind we possess, our mind will not move so much. This is because we have gained the spiritual stamina.
A lot of people are emails are changing. Taking the solution and not from there. As I'm a total here, I go come to money. What we are here to
So we have to understand at what degrees of the heat we can get rid of the impurities from the gold. At what temperature which will burn away the impurities from the gold. Then also we must understand virya or effort. How much effort we need to put in so that we will not have impurities in our mind. So if we understand this, if we are complete with mental energy, impurities in our mind will not be there. How to do it? When an object arises, we must aim our mind towards the object, we must focus. And during the course of noting, if we meet up with some difficulties, we must not let our mind shrink. Then only we can have spiritual stamina. That's all for today. So please practice with respect, please practice with precision, please put a value on your practice. Then only Sayadaw will recognize you as a yogi who cherishes they practice. On the other hand, if you practice very lightly, without seriousness, without precision, Sayadaw will take you as one who is not practicing properly. That's all what.
Can I do tips?